The standard at Tennessee is elite defense. That comment from Coach Josh Heupel following their win against NC State saw it again in their win over Oklahoma, and it started on the first play of the game. Now, what started this level of production from the Tennessee defense? Well, I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass. Some of the biggest plays of the game against Oklahoma came on the first play when Elijah Simmons had the TFL on that first play of the game. Then 7 drives later, it's the Jason Jenkins safety. Then, of course, when Tennessee was able to force a fumble from the Sooners' 5-yard line. Plays like that specifically, I had to ask Coach Josh Heupel, what do those plays tell us about this team, especially when we had those back-to-back fumbles and Tennessee had Oklahoma pinned deep at the 5-yard line. And of course, Josh Heupel says it kind of all comes back to the look they had in their eyes.
The defense handled the sudden change from our offensive turnovers is as good as anywhere I've been in.
Now, the way Tennessee's defense was able to set the tone in this game and set it early, it of course came on the first play, not only because of Elijah Simmons being able to get a TFL, but in the way that he did it. The loss of 5 on that play really dictated how Oklahoma operated their offense moving after that. We really saw for much of the game that they didn't have their running back or their offense sweep onto Elijah Simmons' side, and it was because of the tone and the impact that he had there on the tackle, really highlighting how violent of a player and how destructive he can be, and the way that he plays and the way that he gets through the opposing team's offensive line and really gets to whoever is trying to make the play. Usually it will be that running back type of scheme. But what's allowed him to kind of see this production, be that violent player, is because dating back to last year, he's lost 15 pounds, all in an effort to be a guy that can be a plug-and-play type of player, because this team really highlights how they want to be able to rotate guys not only on the line, but really across the team. We do see it a lot, though, on the line. And because of that weight loss, it's allowed him to be a guy that can rotate, and it's allowed him to be more productive in those snaps that he's getting on the field. All of that really allowing him to set the tone early in this game.
He's a beast, man. And, just seeing him just knock people back and just play violent just the way he does, man, it's truly a sight to see. And, Elijah, we just starting off the year, but, he has so much more left in the tank, and he's going to really show it on Saturdays.
It didn't take long for Elijah Simmons to realize that his first TFL on the game, his 4th tackle on this season, saw immediate impact on the way that the game was played. He even noticing that they didn't really send any of their skilled players his way for much of the game after that first play.
One of the main things was the trap and the wham play. So them coming out with it and making that play in the backfield, like Hype said, would set the tone. They didn't really run it a lot after that. They ran it like a few times later on in the game, but that did change the trajectory of the game a lot, though.
Now let's get to that other massive play that we were talking about at the beginning of the show, because plays are being made all over the field for that Tennessee defense. There were some that stood out more than others. One, of course, was that Elijah Simmons TFL. The other, Jason Jenkins safety that came on the Oklahoma Sooners' 7th drive of the game. Now, Jason Jenkins, he's definitely someone who has been waiting his turn. He's been someone that's been in the system for a couple of years and has done everything he's needed to do on and off the field to be somebody that is ready for when their number is called. He tells us he's really relied on his faith, his family, his teammates to be able to transform his body, to be someone who is really great and sound in his fundamentals, so that when he did get his chance, he'd be able to shine, he'd be able to execute. And that's exactly what happened on Oklahoma Sooners' 7th drive of the game, where he was able to beat the offensive line and go and get that safety. I had to ask him earlier today, walk us through what happened in that play that allowed you to have such an impact, because he talked to us about the celebrations he had on the sideline with his teammates, the rare compliments he's getting from Coach Rodney Gardner on the sideline, and even in film study today, celebrating that play once more. I said, let's take it back a couple of steps. I want to see what you saw. And it all reminded him of Christmas morning.
I realized I saw that the right guard, he was looking directly at me in the whole week in film. We was seeing our keys and everything, that the line, they was really looking to where they was going. And I happened that play to be slanting away from where he was, zoning out to. So seeing that hole wide open, my eyes lit up like Christmas, and, I just knew I had to go in and make the play. So.
all of these plays, and I know we talked about it a bit on Sunday in our post-game report with myself and Jimmy Himes, but even the two that we mentioned here, or the one I didn't mention, which are Maud McCoy getting that interception, the Thorpe National Defensive Back Player of the Week. There's just so many moments in this game where the defense answered the bell. They showed a lot of maturity. You even get back to that forced fumble when Oklahoma was at their 5-yard line, the first play after Tennessee turned it over when they were at Oklahoma's 5-yard line. All of this to say that they do have a lot of maturity that they play with, something that maybe they didn't have a lot last year. And Josh Heupel says it really comes down to the look they have in their eyes.
The look in their eyes, they took the field, and then obviously creating the turnovers. It was the difference in the football game early, for sure.
Now, this dominance this defense is playing with is, of course, years in the making, but more specifically, it's months in realization. Dating back to spring ball, Elijah Simmons says that's really when they noticed how special this defense can be because of the types of plays that they were making in spring ball that continued into preseason camp, into fall camp. Now, here in the regular season, still having that same impact that they kind of were sniffing out in spring ball. This was Elijah Simmons kind of walking back and kind of going down memory lane where he realized that they could play with a lot of confidence this season.
Honestly, started spring ball, man. We had a lot of big plays in spring, a lot of guys doing great things, and we just knew from there that as we continue to go on and progress, that it was going to turn over to the field and show a lot of that on the field. So yeah.
And with all that talent and skill, they're able to live up to and fulfill their priority of being able to rotate guys on the field. Their most important is that they have the depth to go along with it, so that regardless who's on the field, you don't really see a drop-off, regardless of the matchups and duos that they put out onto the field to kind of respond to what the opposing offenses are showing them. And when Jason Jenkins was talking about kind of how would you characterize the defensive line specifically, he said unique, and it's something even Christian Harrison was talking about earlier in the press conferences. If you want to watch that, it's on the bonus tab on the home section about the uniqueness of him and Boo Carter playing at that star position. But Jenkins really says that specifically with the defensive line and really kind of overall, what characterizes them is that they're unique.
I feel like it's so many different, elements of the D line room that you get from different people that just make it just such, one word I could say is just, very unique in terms of, the different things that people bring to the room in terms of like leadership, in terms of just hard work and just all these different type of elements. Like it's just a culmination of just a lot of different things coming from different people, and we all pour into each other, and we all try and just make each other better every day.
Now, as the bye week continues, we'll dive a little bit more into this Tennessee football team, kind of where the offense is looking, where the defense is, and kind of dive a little bit more deeper into those position groups, as that's kind of what you do on a nice bye week, especially when it comes early in the season. So we'll have more on that. We'll also have some on Rick Barnes' Tennessee Volunteers as they just had their first preseason practice of this period. So a lot of happening here on Rocky Top, even the cheerleaders behind us getting their routines in on the bye week as well. But thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later this week.